My favorite moments in fiction is where a main character, chosen by destiny and willed by the bounds of the story, be completely and utterly defeated when faced with the prospect of failure. Where we see things go right for them over and over again, even as the stakes increase more and more until they push the world to its limits, and then it all comes crashing down.
Tonight, I just had to kill a lot of people! And,
Luffy from One Piece is a decent example of this, as from the start we see his will and unwavered confidence bring him triumph in practically impossible circumstances over and over again, beating foes left and right even if the power difference is immense. There's no way Luffy beats Crocodile, he already lost 3 times in the same day! Now, Lucci's the strongest person in the government, there's no way he's losing to Luffy. Katakuri not only has stronger haki, but he's also way better than Luffy in every single way possible. There's no way he's gonna lose, right? Are you serious right now? But then, he arrives at Shabandi and is met with enemies that aren't even in the same hemisphere as him, as they eradicate his entire crew and he can't do anything about it. But this isn't enough to break a character like Luffy. He needs to be broken more to understand his place in the world. So when he finds out later that his brother Ace is being held up to be executed, he vows to save him, and once again his luck runs out. Ace dies, and Luffy realizes that there's a limit to how much he can push his luck, that determination and belief isn't enough to truly change anything, to which he realizes that he needs to get way stronger. But the reason he's only a decent example of what I'm talking about is because Luffy's a character that's designed to rely on the help of others around him to become Pirate King. There's no ego involved with Luffy. He's designed to need others to succeed. So inevitably, when a moment like this does happen, it feels natural, only right, to reinforce the theme of friendship. But what I'm talking about is about a man that feels he's in absolute control being stripped away of said control, the character being so cunning and so perfect in his decision making that it almost makes the audience feel envious that they can't relate to him, only for that to be taken away and we see how pathetic they truly are, and how cringe the audience feels for looking up to such a false god. And that leads to my first case study of this episode, one of the smartest characters in anime, Light Yagami. Light Yagami is a character that's always used to taking wins. He's incredibly handsome, he's incredibly smart, he's incredibly cunning, and when the Death Note lands on his lap, we see him get put through the test. And every trial and tribulation that comes his way, he finds a way out. Even if he's utterly cornered by the genius that chases him, he still finds a way through, until he's victorious. Years pass and his alter ego Kira is that of legends. Crimes have gone down 70% throughout the entire world. He's a moral god among the masses, bringing liberty and hope to this otherwise god-forsaken place. Or so he says after he lets out a pathetic and sadistic laugh after he gets caught, not by L, but by his midget little brother. With nowhere to go and nothing to lose, he finally lets out this pathetic laugh, his eyes glowing red, almost as if he's possessed by a demon. But he's not. This is who he is, but he'd been hiding it for so long that when he finally had nothing to lose, we see how ugly he really had become, how his ego exploded through the roof, how even after he got caught in 4K, he still thinks he's better than everyone else in the room. It's whiplash, it's chaotic, it's ugly, it's cringe, it's light. From season 1 to 3 of Breaking Bad, we saw Walter White go from a little scared lamb to a man capable of doing anything. We saw his glorious transformation from a man that was unable to hurt a fly to using the fact that everyone thought he couldn't hurt a fly as a way to avoid suspicion in order to take the risks he wanted to take, live the life he wanted to live, and have the power he always wanted. Until he met Gustavo Fring. All that bullshit that Walt had gotten away with, all the people he killed, whether it was through luck or his superior intellect, or maybe both, he wasn't gonna get away with anymore. Because he finally met a man in the game that masked his wit, but also had the 20 years of experience to go with it.
If you try to interfere, this becomes a much simpler matter. I will kill your wife. I will kill your son. I will kill your infant daughter.
And so he lived every day working under Gus, scared, with the only reason for him not being 6 feet under being because he knows how to cook, But even then he knew his days were numbered. The power that he sought, the risks he took, all dissolved. And when he realizes that him and his family were gonna die for crossing that line, he decides to run with the money he had piled up in his crawl space. But when he goes to dig it up, the money is no longer there. And so he asks his wife where the money is. And from his perspective, his wife had given it to the man that she cheated on him with.
Please just hear me out, please!
At this point in time, Walter thinks his entire family is about to be executed, and the only escape he had was stunted when his wife gave the man that she's having an affair with his money. This is the same man that a few episodes ago said to his wife that he's the one who knocks, just for him to end up in a crawl space. Ugh. In chapter 139 of Attack on Titan, we see Eren utterly collapse at the prospect of Mikasa marrying another man after he caused a genocide of 80% of the world's population. This scene was heavily scrutinized by the fandom because it's so cowardly of Eren, so fraudulent, so cringe to act and think this way after everything he did. Because for the entirety of the time skip in Marley, Eren is acting like a big tough guy, acting like he's stoic, acting like he's indifferent to what he's doing, acting like he's pushing his friends away, acting like he doesn't care about them, acting like he's making fun of them. The long hair, the composed look, the brutal message to his father to keep moving forward. The fans thought that the bitch boy Eren that we would all see cry all the time was gone, and he had finally grown older, and that he finally understood how to achieve his pursuit of freedom and accepted the price without showing feelings or complaining. Even me, I made a whole video about this, and every single thing I said in this video was wrong because Eren was a fucking hypocrite. All along, of course he wanted freedom, revenge for his mom, to wipe out all the Titans in the world, but he didn't want to die in the process. There came a point where things that happened wasn't even up to him anymore. And he knew that, yes, he was going to reach the scenery, and he knew that, yes, he was going to wipe out all the Titans in the world, but he also knew that he was going to die. He saw his future, and there was nothing he could do to change that. How could you not ugly cry about that? And be cringe, and be pathetic, and be a degenerate? When characters deal with stakes so high, there needs to be a moment where all the guards they've put up shatters. Because under the rock-hard shells all these characters build up to face the world, face their dreams, face a God-willed destiny, is a flawed human psyche like everyone else. Hypocrites with big ambitions stem from issues of fear and loathing. Because the bigger you dream, the more pathetic you cry. It makes me think, isn't it all kind of the same with all the strong people that we see in our day-to-day? All the men with daddy issues that get their money up to fuck as many girls as they want. All the women with dirty legs that scream they don't need a man and refuse to shave their armpits. Are we all exactly the same? Are we all just selfish? Afraid to be forgotten? Do we try to hide that by distracting ourselves with ambition? How much of our dreams are actually what we want to do and not the result of some ego trips stemming from abandonment issues? That's why a part of me thinks that the greatest, most successful people on the planet, before they ever got successful, cried the same tears chasing what the world sees as their destiny, even though they themselves saw it once as an impossible dream. That maybe even the most greatest and the most talented people cried tears of Hennessy at the fear of their future. Or maybe I'm just coping.